And here we go. I'm Charles Wrighton with my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Cup 2021, the semifinals and the finals. Due to time constraints and the fact I had to work earlier today, that's where you're getting two videos in one. But let me know your thoughts on who won the New Japan Cup tournament, because goodness me, wrestling Twitter is in a bit of a firestorm right now, but I'll let you know my thoughts at the end. I may surprise you, I may not. But in all honesty, both shows were pretty good. I can't say they were great, but at least I will say the bigger matches delivered enough to make these shows worth watching. The undercards were typical. I did listen to the English commentary feed for both nights, which was Kevin Kelly, Chris Charlton, and Gino Gambino. The venue looked great, absolutely looked great. Had a really cool feel, cool aesthetic, and the crowd was into most of the matches. Even though they can't cheer, the energy really was permeating through the screen. We get the Great O-Khan, which is Jeff Cobb, and the Great O-Khan, my least favorite gimmick in all of New Japan, and one of my least favorite gimmicks in wrestling going right. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Wah! 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 Why does he do that? Why does he sound like he's being tased in the goddamn balls every time he hits a chop? And I'm not even saying he's not a good athlete, the gimmick shit. Anyway, they took on Yuya Uemura and Juice Uemura, which sounds like a really weird smoothie, and it was a typical opener. Yuya did hit a nice slam to Cobb, but eventually got hit with the Tour of the Islands 1, 2, 3. So there you go, right there. Juice got some shots as well. And then we get Fale, Chase, and Jado versus Yano, Yoshihashi, and Sho. Great, the Bullet Club D team. When Fale is the best worker out of anybody on your team, you know you are in for a long night. And the match existed. Low blow to Jado, roll up 1, 2, 3. None of these matches really meant anything, but I don't feel like totally skipping over them. I feel like at least mentioning a couple things that happened because it's not fair to the performers. But I'm just not going to get into a long, analysis of a match that was just simply there. So anyway, Dangerous Tekkers, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi with Doki take on LIJ members Sonata, Naito, and Bushi. The pace is good, match is typical. Taichi's gotten into choking men repeatedly. It sounds like when I say he's gotten into choking that he's unable to win the big one, which is kind of true because Taichi's only, briefly tasted success as far as championships, but moving on. I want to see ZSJ and Sonata in a best-of-7 series. I really want to see that. Skull End for the win on Doki. Doki gets choked with the Skull End. Then we have the intermission. Then we have Okada, Ibushi, and Tanahashi with sweet Jesus. That's a goddamn great dream team. Just, with Okada, one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best, depending on your perspective. Ibushi, the current IWGP and, heavyweight and intercontinental champion, though it's soon going to be the world heavyweight championship. And people are not happy about this, myself included. I don't think you forget the lineage of something. And Ibushi is kind of becoming public enemy number one. Well, maybe not public enemy number one, but it's not exactly something I care for. And I think that the company is stupid to go with it, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. And Tanahashi is the never openweight champion. They take on Kenta, Jay, and Yujiro. Okada was hanging back while his teammates were there. He's upset at Ibushi. I don't blame him. This match is most remembered for the fact that an earthquake hit, the 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit. And since everybody's okay, I can now say that the ghost of John Tenta was haunting the New Japan show right there. Thankfully, everybody is okay. If everybody wasn't okay or if anybody was hurt, I would not be saying that because that would not be cool. And everybody was, as calm as possible. I mean, earthquakes do happen a lot in Japan from what I've been told. I've never been to Japan, but that's just what I've been told. And Ibushi at the end is just trying to calm everybody down. I am God, settle down. He wants to become God. But the match wasn't bad. It does restart, and it was like a 20-minute delay, but that makes sense. I want to make sure everybody's okay, the venue's okay, everything's good. And then Ibushi shoves Okada out of the way, Kamigoye to Yujiro, 1, 2, 3. So that's it right there. But yeah, it's most remembered, and thankfully everybody is okay. And in surrounding areas, everything seems fine, even though 7.2, pretty goddamn scary. The biggest one I've been involved in is 6.8 that happened in like 2002. Anyway, Will Ospreay with B versus David Finlay with Juice, semifinal match. I knew what the end result would be. It was very obvious. I don't think they could have telegraphed the finals with the semifinals anymore. If they tried, I mean, they might as well have just not had Finlay and Evil even wrestle, but then would have been the point of having the tournament. Will is simultaneously trying too hard to be disliked and also is easy to dislike. And I just mean as far as outside stuff. And I'm talking from a few years ago. Like everybody has a different opinion. I will not doubt Will's, skill in the ring. And him and David Finlay crafted a good match here. B just does not need to be there. And that's not even a punch. She doesn't need to be there. Finley got sent outside at one point trying to hit his finish and landed badly. Now the camera missed it, but it seemed like he hurt his foot and he was limping on. Now I hope he was just selling. I really hope he was, but he was selling it a lot. I mean, he really was. Now he hit some good moves, but before that he was trying to, Will was trying to basically say end it. Like, he was simultaneously being a heel and saying, if the guy's really hurt, let's just call it and go home. We already have a delay because of the earthquake. We get a figure four. We get some good stuff. We get, the untying of the boot, and they should have ended it there. Yes, Finley did hit a Hurricanrana. He did get caught, though, and hit with the Stormbreaker. He did hit some moves, but he got caught with that Stormbreaker 1, 2, 3. And I hope Finley's okay. He was on the next night's show, but he wasn't doing all that much. So I really hope that maybe he can get some rest, because him and Juice are the current Impact Tag Team Champions. Remember when that title meant something? Because it's been a while. Anyway, Will Ospreay advances, as we knew he would. And then Evil versus Shingo, semifinal match. Quick start. Of course, Dick keeps inserting himself repeatedly. I will say that the interference in this, yes, it bothered me. And the interference in general, where it's Bullet Club, where it's B interfering, whatever it is, I understand the whole point of trying to build up heels. And I will explain this when I get to the finals. But sometimes it just gets to be a little much, especially with the Bullet Club stuff. It just gets very annoying. Anyway, Evil stock has dropped dramatically since joining the T-shirt brand stable, and that's what the Bullet Club basically is. Outside of G.O.D. and Kenta, I don't care about anybody in the Bullet Club. Bad chair shot. It was like really lame. And I mean, I don't want them to brain each other, but that was a really, really bad chair shot. Made in Japan for 2, ref bump. We get a Magic Dick Killer, so Blue Chew was not a sponsor, and then Dick choking from behind. Pumping Bomber, Last of Dragons 1, 2, 3. Face off with Will. Mic check to Will, and then Pumping Bomber over the top. So that's the end of the semifinals right there. So the finals. This one will be quick because there really wasn't a whole lot outside like one thing in the undercard match and then the finals. So here's Yo to give an update on his injury. He will be back at Sakura Genesis and wants a challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. It's good to see Yo back. I'm glad to see he recovered from, I believe, a torn ACL. Yo Tsuji, Gabriel Kidd, and Yuya Yamura versus Dangerous Tekkers and Doki. The Young Lions jump it. Doki makes Yuya feel his lengthy pipe. Doki loves making other men feel his lengthy pipe. I like making these reviews as uncomfortable as possible because why not? You got all this choking, all this pipe laying, a lot of pipe being laid among these men. And yeah, I know what that means. I'm just going to say it anyway. Yota, showed off. He got some near falls on Taichi, but snapback suplex, 1, 2, 3. Yota got pinned. And then the Great O-Cobb. So obviously Jeff Cobb and the Schlub. And I love Jeff Cobb, but he deserves a better tag partner. Versus Kojima and Hanma. And oh boy, Cobb and Hanma got a shoulder block battle. And then we got a Tour of the Islands 1, 2, 3. Evil, Kenta, and Yujiro versus Yano, Sho, and Yoshihashi. Man, and just, you saw in the corner, Dick's, just little tip right there. Dick's tip all over the camera right there. And I mean, man, it was just, when you get that tip all over the camera, it's going to get messy. Butterfly lock, Evil breaks it up at one point. I don't know why Evil hates the ring announcer, by the way. I feel bad for the guy. Table keeps getting tipped over on the guy. Dick's inserting himself again. And then we get the Pimp Cane and then Pimp Juice all over Yoshihashi, 1, 2, 3. That may have been worded intentionally, just make more people uncomfortable. And then Kenta, basically grips Yoshihashi's staff and leaves. So obviously we're going to get... obviously you're going to swap out, just take this match, swap out Sho for Goto, and you're going to have a never openweight 6-man championship. I hope on Sakura Genesis and not on one of the 2 Road to Sakura Genesis shows. I think you need to feature those 6-man titles, especially if you're putting together the Intercontinental and the Heavyweight Championship titles. You need to actually feature your tag titles. Otherwise, why do you even have them? Just don't give Bullet Club those. I'm sorry, you don't need to. Just have somebody else win it, because I have nothing against Kenta. I just have no desire to see Evil as champion. I definitely have no desire to see Yujiro as champion. LIJ versus Finley, Juice, and Hanare. Now, Hanare has been getting upset more lately. He hasn't been able to get that big win. We got a lot of Juice and Naito during this, and Hanare was more aggressive, but he got caught with that bridge pin by Sonata 1, 2, 3. and he's just upset. He's pissed afterwards. He's practically headbutting the ring post. And I want to say right now, Hinari may never be a world champion in New Japan, but I think I think they could do a whole lot better with him, and I think this is going to be part of a bigger story. Hinari can at least be upper mid card. He is very good. He has put in the work, especially after coming back from that torn Achilles tendon. I think Hinari can be a good star for Japan. And I think we'll be able to show off and put him in the G1, give him some wins, and give him like 3 to 4 wins. Just let him show off and let him show what he can do. I mean, I know the G1's months away. I just think Hinari can be, a benefit to New Japan. And I can understand his frustration. It's a good story here. It's a way to establish somebody possibly turning heel. I will explain that here in a little bit. Okada, Ibushi, and Tanahashi versus Jay, Fale, and Chase. Well, we got the usual antics, and we got Gato that just won't goddamn leave. And Gato is getting a lot of shit for what he did with the finals. And I'll explain why, how I feel about that. Okada does slam Fale. The match was just there. Like Kamigoye on Chase 1, 2, 3. And look, I know that Jay White has his fans. I'm not one of them. I don't care for Jay White. I really don't. He doesn't mean anything to me. He can wrestle. He can do some good stuff. And I get it. Like, he's seen as a star. I just don't, I don't get it. And maybe I don't want to get it. Maybe that's what, maybe I've just made up my mind and he just cannot change it. I don't know. I've enjoyed some matches he's been in. I will say right now, the Wrestle Kingdom Night 2 was not one of them. That went on way too long for the sake of going on too long. And I'm not saying that's Jay White's fault. That's just, how I felt. But Ibushi joins commentary. Basically, it just doesn't, the stuff with Jay just doesn't work for me. Anyway, Ibushi joins commentary for Shingo versus Will Ospreay with B. Great. B is here again. I mean, I guess I sort of understood by the finale, but still, she is so useless. Like, when I say I wanted more women involved in New Japan, possibly, maybe manager capacity or whatever, I didn't mean somebody that really wasn't a benefit to wrestling in general. New Japan Cup Final. It had a big fight feel. Shingo has his own sword, calling back to the Best of Super Juniors 2019 thing, where Will was the Dragon Slayer. I'm going to tell you right now, I like the injury stuff. Shingo's back, Will's nose and shoulder and stuff like that. Which injury would play the biggest factor? I didn't mind, the back drop on the barricade was pretty goddamn brutal. Will zeroes in on it, and Will, his nose gets swollen, and he's bleeding a little bit, not much, but, obviously the swollen stuff would hurt. He focuses on the back with vicious scissoring from behind. Let me tell you right now, vicious, satisfying scissoring will knock down anybody. Shingo hits some moves, but keeps holding his back. It's a nice little bit of storytelling. B has to keep interfering. This is where the match lost me a bit. This match was really good, and there was some high-level work, and I will praise some of these spots, but I understand being a heel, but it's like the Gato stuff, it got annoying. The stuff with B has not been going on nearly as long, and I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed, and it brings it down. Because she's not charismatic. She doesn't offer any, thing beneficial to any of these matches. It just doesn't work. So anyway, Cobb and Okan are there also. But they're there just in a capacity. I don't believe they actually did interfere. Though then again, whenever Great Okan is out there, I pretty much just zone out. We've got a table. B moves the table. It's about time she did something useful. Why don't you go move furniture in the goddamn house, you dumb bitch? Shingo targets the nose with a crossface. Spanish fly off the top. That was some pretty good stuff. That was a pretty good move for 2. Shingo tries coming back, strike and forearm time. Os cutter for 2. Os cutter to the outside. I don't think Will's going to be walking by age 35 if he keeps doing that. Referee gets distracted. 450 through the table. I am the table. Fortunately, it's by Will, and it wasn't by B, because I think B was somehow botched it. But yeah, shooting star for 2. We get more reversals. Made in Japan for 2. I don't know why they keep doing the Poison Rana. I really don't. I did like the clothesline into Will popping up and then hitting a move. That was actually kind of cool. Because they do the power-up stuff. Ishii and Shingo and Goto and Ishii and Goto and various others, just do that kind of stuff. So you know what? If you want to make Will kind of be a full-on dick, you might as well have him do that stuff too. He hits Spanish Fly for 2. Hidden Blade, Stormbreaker, 1, 2, 3. Will Ospreay. Now I want to say, I called it. I didn't think that it would be Shingo in the finals, and I'm not upset it was Shingo in the finals. But Will Ospreay won. I called him winning, and I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but I'm going to explain why I feel the way I do here in a bit. Will says to Ibushi, face to face, I love this more than anything or anyone. And boom, he hits an os cutter onto B. Who's his real life, I guess, girlfriend or fiance. I don't actually know if they're married. It's none of my business. They'll make beautiful, stupid kids together. Or mousy looking kids together. But anyway, Will's doing that. How very Randy Orton and Stacy Keibler in early 2005 of you. I want to explain how, one, if it takes me off of television, I'm not all that upset. If you want to lean into Will being a full-on dick, and I'm talking about New Japan, that's the way to do it. That's the way to fucking do it. Lean into it and make him a full-on dick. It's not the worst idea in the world. Now, I'm not saying whether I agree with it or not. I kind of laughed because it's like, oh, he's just going to os-cut his girlfriend. Okay. I mean, I don't really care about either of them outside the ring, but Will versus Ibushi will be a damn good match. Will Ibushi win? He better goddamn win. If Will does win, then you're going to hear me complain because there's no reason for Will Ospreay to be made the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. At least not yet. I think they eventually will do that. But how do you establish a new heel force? You have, him go by any means necessary and, Asuka's girlfriend do whatever to show that he will do anything to win. Now, I'm not saying I agree with it and I still don't like Ospreay. But as far as in ring, him and Ibushi are going to tell a great goddamn story. So I can understand why some people are upset. I will be more upset if Will wins. If he wins, then we've got a problem. But anyway, as far as him winning the cup, I kind of had a feeling they were going to have him do it. I mean, I wouldn't have been upset if Shingo had won, but maybe this means Shingo will have a run in the G1 and maybe even win it. I would be all for that. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retland. I'll see you soon.